Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be doing my 2024 priority TBR. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by this. Last year I did 23 books for 2023. This year I have decided to continue that trend and do 24 books in 2023. I don't know what's wrong with me. But here we are. So I have decided to do 12 books from 12 friends again because I feel like that narrows the list down a little bit for me and I don't have to pick 24 books myself. So I have 12 books from 12 friends and then 12 priority books. And what I've actually done with the priority books is gone for books that A, I should have picked up by now because they've been on my TBR freaking ever. B, I actually really do want to get to. I'm just intimidated. And yeah, that's it, A and B. So there are 24 books here on this list. I'm not going to go into detail about what each of these books is about because we will be here forever, but we are going to start off with 12 books from 12 friends. So the first book that I do have has been suggested to me by Claire, and that is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Now, I have a little bit of an up and down relationship with R.F. Kuang. I loved the Poppy War series. I DNF'd Babel. So I don't know where we're gonna lie with this, but at least it's not large. I have two editions of this. I have the Waterstones edition and then this is the Fairy Loot edition as well. And this is, I think, more literary fiction, but I am still intrigued about it. I went to an R.F. Kuang event actually and she did sign, she signed I think my Waterstones one. Rather than this one. This one was obviously already signed because it was from Fairy Loot. I don't actually know the full ins and outs of this book, so I am going to very quickly read through the synopsis. Athena Lou is a literary darling and June Hayward is literally nobody. White lies. When Athena dies in a freak accident, June steals her unpublished manuscript and publishes it as her own under the ambiguous name Juniper Song. Dark humour. But as evidence threatens June's stolen success, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. Deadly consequences. What happens next is entirely everyone's fault. I'm very intrigued by this. It's going to be involving publishing industry very much so, and I'm very, very intrigued by it. So I do really want to get to it. Obviously I own 2 copies of it and I do enjoy R.F. Kuang's writing style, so I am excited about it in that sense. It just makes me a little bit nervous because I think it's probably going to be literary fiction and that is not my jam, unfortunately. But thank you to Claire for putting this one on here and essentially forcing me to get to this one. I do appreciate it. Next we do have a little bit of a chunker, and Joe suggested that I pick up Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. I know that Jade has read this recently and she really, really enjoyed it. I believe that this is a standalone, but it's chunky. It is, oh my god, that's the glossary. Why is it so big? That's what she said. 613 pages long, and I'm anxious. I know nothing about this again, but there is a description here that says the Poppy War's darkness meets the last Airbender's elemental magic. I haven't been so emotionally moved by a book in a long while. When the winds of war reach their peninsula, will the Matsuda family have the strength to defend their empire, or will they tear each other apart before the true enemies ever reach their shores? Interesting. I am intrigued by this one. I'm annoyed with Amazon for the damage to this book when it was delivered freaking ages ago, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it now, unfortunately. So Sword of Kaigen has been put on here by Joe. Thank you, Joe, for that. Next we do have These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan from Tracy. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It's embarrassing how long this has been on here. This was published in 2021. Should have got to it before now and I haven't, so it's time. It's time. Go to the Sealy Court, find the Queen's secret portal to enter the most dangerous place in Fairy, find my sister and rescue her from a power-hungry king. Child's play. So I assume we're going to have some fae in here, obviously, and some rescuing of siblings. There is a map. Very nice. Oh, shine a light. That's the Fairy Loot reader card. So yeah, I do have this one, very pretty underneath, from Tracy. It's about time I got to this one, to be honest. It's been staring at me for a very long time from my special edition shelf, so thanks to Tracy for putting this one on. Then from CC, we do have a book that isn't even out yet. But it will come out next year. It's supposed to be coming out, I think, in January or February, and it is Play of Shadows by Sebastian de Castell, and I'm really excited about picking this one up. Yet again, I know absolutely nothing about it, and I don't have the synopsis for you. So if you want to look it up, go ahead and do so. But it's Sebastian de Castell, and Joe Jameson is narrating the audiobook, so I don't care what it's about, quite frankly. I'm excited regardless. It will be fantasy of some proportion, probably some torture and some very dramatic scenes with a whole bunch of humour. And I'm excited. So CC's put that one on my TBR for me, so thanks CC for that one. Then from Jade, we do have East of the Sun, West of the Moon by Jackie Morris. I do think she would have probably put Sword of Kaigen or Play of Shadows on here if she had the option to do so, but Joe and CC did beat her to the punch. So she's put East of the Sun, West of the Moon on here by Jackie Morris, and I'm really excited about this one, especially after reading Northchild and Echo North last year for Polathon, because I really love both of those books, and they are retellings of East of the Sun, West of the Moon, which Beauty and the Beast is also a retelling of. So this is like East of the Sun, West of the Moon is the original story. This is a retelling of East of the Sun, West of the Moon, but it's in a short book. This was sent to me by Tracy, so thank you Tracy for sending me that, and it is heavily illustrated throughout, so there will be pages with just an illustration on. There isn't a great deal of text on said pages. There are pages with really big illustrations on as well in here somewhere, like full page spreads, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I know that Jade got through this very quickly, so I'm really hyped. From the moment she saw him, the girl knew the bear had come for her. How many times had she dreamed of him? Now here he was, as if expelled from her dreams. Sign me up. I'm really excited about that one, I'm not gonna lie. Next we do have Arctic Railway Assassin from Steph Ray. This is by MG Leonard and Sam Sedgman, which is the last book in the Adventures on Train series, and I'm really excited about this one. This is book 6, and in this series we follow Harrison Beck, who in the first book his mum is pregnant, so that he doesn't feel left out and in the way, she basically sends him off with his uncle Nat to go on a train journey while she has the baby, and he ends up having the time of his life. He becomes this like little detective and ends up solving problems on all of the trains, and on this one it looks like there's going to be a railway assassin, so I'm really hyped for this one. It looks very perfect for like Christmas season, if you like. So whether or not I try and read this early on in the year, in like January or Feb, or whether I try and get to it like in December, November, December, towards the end of the year, I'm not sure, but I'm very excited to continue on with this and finish it off. I also have this one with the sprayed edges. Kind of wish the others had sprayed edges. I don't know if they originally did, but I probably got them too late to get the ones with sprayed edges, but I'm very excited about this one, so thanks to Steph for putting this one on. Then we do have Lightning Struck Heart by TJ Klune. Ren did put this one on my list for me. This one was gifted to me by Ratbag, and she has had me try and read this several times. It's not the book, it's me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I do have a bookmark in here still, actually 32 pages in. This is completely batshit crazy, I believe. I don't even know if I could tell you the synopsis of this book without reading it, but it does go on quite a bit. We're following Sam through a few years of his life, I believe. There is a prince as well. There is a hornless gay unicorn called Gary, and a half giant named Tiggy, and Sam ends up earning the moniker Sam of the Wilds. At 15, Sam learns what love truly is when a new knight arrives at the castle. So Ryan Foxheart, the dreamiest dream to have ever been dreamed. Naturally, it all goes to hell though through the years when Ryan dates the reprehensible Prince Justin. Sam can't control his magic. Sexually aggressive dragon kidnaps the prince, and the king sends them on an epic quest to save Ryan's boyfriend, all while Sam falls more in love with someone he can never have. Or so he thinks. Sounds fucking mental, but it sounds great, so thanks to Ren for putting this on my TBR. Next from Kath, we do have River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. So nearly said Yaros then, because it rolls off the tongue, you know. By Rebecca Ross. I recently read Divine Rivals and really enjoyed it, so I'm hoping to enjoy this one as well. Kath and Caitlin have both minded the fuck out of me to pick this book up, and I haven't done it yet. I do have the sequel in the Feralute edition to match. I bought it because, again, they minded the fuck out of me to make sure that I got it so that I had them together. If these two are saying to me that I'm going to enjoy this book, there's a good chance I'm going to enjoy it. I've no idea what it's about. Couldn't tell you. Enchantments run deep in the magical Isle of Cadence. An alluring and rich tale, at once a fast-paced mystery and a love story as warm as a hearth. From Ava Reid. Sounds right up my street. A mystery, a romance, fantasy. Sign me up. Thank you, Kath, for putting this on here and finally making me read this book, because it's about damn time. Next, from Alicia, I don't think she should be on this list anymore because I don't think we should be friends anymore. Alicia screwed me over royally. I'm joking. I love her dearly, but she did screw me over royally. Me and Alicia don't have many crossovers with our books, and for some reason she's going to put a book on here that I have doubts I'm going to like and that she has doubts I'm going to like. Don't ask me where her logic is because nobody knows the answer to it. Maybe her logic is that if I at least try this book and I don't like it, I will be able to unhaul 3 books off of my TBR because I own the first 3 in the series. That's probably her logic. It tracks. There's method in her madness, you know? The book is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Alicia, I only bought the first 3 books in this series because Jade said to me towards the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023, I can't remember, do you want to read The Wheel of Time with me? And I was like, Ma'am, why? It's a really long series. She was like, I know, that's why I don't want to read it on my own, let's buddy read it. So I bought them, we've done nothing about it. So now Alicia's forcing our hand a little bit because Jade is now going to have to buddy read this with me. Because I'm not doing it on my own. She taught me into this, so I'm not doing it on my own. Jade, I hope you're listening. I don't know what this is about. Discover the first novel in one of the most influential fantasy series of all time, now also a major TV series. Can I just watch the TV series instead? The Wheel of Time has enthralled millions of readers worldwide. Oh, I thought it was going to give us more information. When their village is attacked by terrifying creatures, Rand al'Thor and his friends are forced to flee for their lives. An ancient evil is stirring and its servants are scouring the land for the dragon reborn, the prophesized hero who can deliver the world from darkness. In this age of myth and legend, the Wheel of Time turns. What was, what may be, and what is may yet fall under the shadow. If I remember correctly from Becca's description of this, they go through stages of being in lightness and darkness, and I think what they're trying to do is try and get it back to lightness again. So other than that, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So this, why does the text need to go from the very top of the page to the very bottom? Like, what is this? Is that completely necessary? One of 2 things are going to happen here. I'm going to DNF it or finish it and hate it and be able to get rid of 3 books off of my shelves. Great. I'm going to love it. Also great, but not so great because I'm starting to, like, I don't know how many books are in this series. Maybe it's like 15 or something. And I have not the time, Alicia. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, hang on. There is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14 books. The last 3 are written by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. Interesting. Oh, hang on. It's signed. Look at that. Thanks, Alicia. I still love you dearly, but honestly, how dare you? Then from Victoria, we do have Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. Victoria actually tried to get Wheel of Time on here, and I told her, she said either Wheel of Time or Bring Me Your Midnight, and I was like, I'm not reading Wheel of Time, let's do Bring Me Your Midnight. Then Alicia was like, Wheel of Time, not because Victoria suggested it, but because that's the only thing she could fucking think of. Bring Me Your Midnight from Victoria. I'm very excited about this one. I loved The Nature of Witches. I gave Wild is the Witch 3 stars. I'm really gutted about it. So my expectations of this have gone down somewhat compared to The Nature of Witches because my expectations were way too high going into Wild is the Witch. But I've just seen Kayla actually read this one for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and she liked it, so I'm intrigued. A lush romantic fantasy about forbidden love, the choices we make, and the pull between duty and desire. I believe that this is following a young girl who is a witch, and the witches and the non-magic people basically are, the non-magic people are aware of the witches, but they live separately. However, this witch needs to marry a non-magic person in order to keep the alliances together or something, or keep, I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but also they end up feeding their magic into the sea every now and then to release some of the magic so they don't become too powerful as well. I believe that's the ins and outs of it. I don't 100% know. I've gleaned that information from watching Kayla's video and that's it. So I am intrigued by this one, but thank you to Victoria for popping that one on there. Then from Emily, we do have Bunny by Mona Awad. I've not had this on here that long. I think I bought this maybe a year ago, back in January when the girls came to mine. But I am intrigued by this. I'm intimidated by it, which sounds ridiculous. It's not a large book, but I'm intimidated by it because I think it's going to be weird, and I don't know if it's my kind of weird. I know that Kayla loves this one. I know that Katie Colson loves this one. A lot of people love this one. I know that Katie Colson loves this book. So she's going to be very excited about the fact that I'm picking this one up. But yeah, other than that, I don't know anything about it. I believe it's like dark academia and there's some weird shit going on. Maybe some drugs, I don't know. Blending sharp satire with fairy tale horror, Bunny's spellbinding trip of a novel from one of fiction's most original voices. So I am intrigued by this one, intimidated, but thank you to Emily for popping this on here. It will force me to pick it up, which I appreciate. And then the last one from 12 books from 12 friends is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson from Caitlin. And I'm really excited about picking this one up because I have enjoyed a couple. I think I've read a couple from Tiffany D. Jackson now. Oh, shine a light. Yeah, I've read White Smoke and The Weight of Blood and really enjoyed them. So I'm very excited about this one. I think that this is like a thriller, mystery, potentially horror. Another riveting, ripped from the headlines mystery that exposes horrific secrets hiding behind the limelight and the power of a young woman's voice. I'm not going to read any more than that, but I've heard fantastic things about this and it's about time I picked it up, I'm not going to lie. So very excited about this one, and thank you to Caitlin for putting this one on my TBR. So that was 12 books from 12 friends, and now I have 12 priority books that I would really like to get to as well. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, quite frankly. However, one thing you will see is that a couple of these have already made it onto my January TBR, so yay for that if I get to them. This stack is much larger than the last one because there are some very chunky books on here. There are also some books on here that have been on my TBR way too long to have not been read. So we're going to start off with Layla by Colleen Hoover. I'm intimidated by this book because, in fact, there's another one I could have picked for this, which is Survive the Night by Riley Sager, because that's also been on my TBR too long, and I'm intimidated by that for the same reason I'm intimidated by this. It's because that it's very much a Marmite book. People either hate it or love it. The majority of people hate it. It's the same as Survive the Night. I don't know anything about this. I do enjoy Colleen Hoover's writing style, so I'm intrigued about that, but haven't picked up a Colleen Hoover without it being a reread for a while. When Leeds meets Layla, he's convinced he'll spend the rest of his life with her until an unexpected attack leaves Layla fighting for her life. After weeks in the hospital, Layla recovers physically, but the emotional and mental scarring has altered the woman Leeds fell in love with. In order to put their relationship back on track, Leeds whisks Layla away to the bed and breakfast where they first met. Once they arrive, Layla's behaviour takes a bizarre turn, and that's just one of the many inexplicable occurrences. Feeling distant from Layla, Leeds soon finds solace in Willow, another guest of the B&B with whom he forms a connection through their shared concerns. As his curiosity for Willow grows, his decision to help her find answers puts him in direct conflict with Layla's well-being. Lee soon realises he has to make a choice because he can't help both of them, but if he makes the wrong choice, it could be detrimental for them all. Sounds very interesting to me, and I'm very intrigued by this, but I have not heard good things. So I'm frightened, to say the least, but it's about time I got to it so I can either unhaul it or keep it. A decision needs to be made. Next is a book that's been on here far too long. I don't even know when this came out. It feels like it's been out longer than this. But The Holdout by Graham Moore. This is the hardback, so I must have got this relatively new and it came out in 2020. and I should have read it by now, or unhauled it. One of two things. I think many a time I've gone to unhaul this and decided not to do so. One juror changed the verdict. What if she was wrong? 10 years ago we made a decision together. 15-year-old Jessica Silver, heiress to $1 billion fortune, vanishes on her way home from school. Her teacher, Bobby Knock, is the prime suspect. It's an open and shut case for the prosecution, and a quick conviction seems all but guaranteed, until Maya Seal, a young woman on the jury, persuades the rest of the jurors to vote not guilty. Controversial decision that will change all of their lives forever. 10 years later, one of the jurors is found dead, and Maya is being framed for his murder. The real killer could be any one of the 10 jurors. Will Maya be forced to pay the price for the decision she made all those years ago? It sounds fascinating, sounds right up my street. I just don't know why I've not been picking it up. So it's on here because I need to either unhaul it or read it and enjoy it and keep it. You could say that this part of my 2024 TBR is a little bit like Becca's self-destruct books, maybe. Because there's quite a few on here that should have gone in a self-destruct TBR, potentially. But I've decided to do it this way round instead because I don't want to have to build yet another TBR on top of the 24 books I'm putting on here, plus all the other books I would like to get to in 2024, so here we are. Next we have Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton. Now I got this in a box with a bunch of other books that I won in a competition from the publisher who were headlined, so thank you to them for sending me this one. I've not picked it up yet. The synopsis for this is batshit crazy. Another batshit crazy book. This came out in 2019. I am an awful person. Hollow Kingdom. ST is a domesticated crow. He is a bird of simple pleasures, hanging out with his owner, Big Jim, trading insults with Seattle's wild crows, those idiots, and enjoying the finest foods humankind has to offer, Cheetos. But when Big Jim's eyeball falls out of his head, ST starts to feel like something isn't right. His most tried and true remedies, from beak-delivered beer to the slobbering affection of the loyal but dim-witted dog Dennis, fails to cure his owner. ST is left with no choice but to venture out into a frightening new world, where he discovers that the neighbours are devouring each other and the local wildlife is abuzz with rumours of dangerous new predators roaming Seattle. Humanity's extinction has arrived, and the only one determined to save it is a foul-mouthed crow. Every time I read that synopsis I get really, really excited about this book again, and maybe what I should be doing is picking it up immediately. However, that's not going to happen. But I always remember that there is a crow in this. I always forget that it sounds like it's a zombie post-apocalyptic story. Every single time I forget that part of the plot. I just always remember the crow, naturally. How am I going to forget the crow? So yeah, it's about time I got to this. The text in here is very, very large, but there is a lot of it on a page. Hollow Kingdom, I need to get to that. It sounds like fun to some extent, you know? Gallant by V. Schwab. Don't come for me. I'm annoyed at myself, I'm not going to lie. I am annoyed at myself. Did this come out last year or was it the year before? 2022. And I've not read it yet. And it's small. What is the matter with me? For goodness sakes. 16-year-old Olivia Pryor is missing 3 things. A mother, a father, and a voice. Her mother vanished all at once. Her father by degrees, and her voice was a thing she never had to start with. Her only companions are the ghouls she sees in her mother's journal, which captured a mind in turmoil. Oh, this actually sounds really fascinating. I wouldn't mind, but half the bloody pages are like this. The journal entries. They're not even for... Why have I not read this yet? I'm excited about it. Then we have The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling. This has been on my TBR for the longest time, which is a recurring theme with a lot of these books. 2019. A thrilling atmospheric debut with the intensive drive of The Martian, freaking love The Martian, and Gravity, loved that as well, and the creeping dread of annihilation, DNF'd it, in which a caver on a foreign planet finds herself in a terrifying psychological and emotional journey for survival. This sounds fascinating to me. I think I am terrified about the isolation aspect of it and the claustrophobia aspect of it, because I think it's going to have me struggling to breathe, quite frankly. I think I'm going to feel very claustrophobic reading this. I'm not a huge fan of caves, I'm not going to lie, unless I can see the exit very, very clearly as a giant freaking hole. I'm not going in a cave, you can guarantee it. I don't get particularly claustrophobic, but I can, and a cave is one of those places that will happen. So similar with underground anywhere, quite frankly, like the underground tube, the tube in London. Sometimes I struggle on that, not all the time, but sometimes it can happen. I can struggle depending on how far down we're going. But yeah, so that's the reason why I've been avoiding picking this up. Is this book damaged? Oh, it is. Whoopsie. So the Luminous Dead is going on there. Then we have The Heart Principle by Helen Kuang. I should have got to this a long fucking time ago as well. I'm fairly certain this was the first book I got in the Afterlight box when they were doing paperbacks, 2021. With the yellow sprayed edges. It is the third book in Helen Kuang's not quite series, but kind of series spin-offs from the Kiss Quotient. A woman struggling with burnout learns to embrace the unexpected, and the man she enlists to help her in this heartfelt romance. I don't know why I've not picked this up, because I gave The Heart Principle and also no, I didn't give The Heart Principle anything because I've not read it yet. It's the one in my hand. The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test, I think I gave them both 5 stars. I love them, so I don't know why I've not picked this up yet. So it needs to go on here. I need to be held responsible. Also, it will get another book off of my subscription box list as well. So that's great news. Next, I think this is probably the most embarrassing book on this TBR, quite frankly, other than maybe Hollow Kingdom and the Holdout. Beartown by Frederick Backman. I don't know why I still have this on my TBR because I haven't picked it up yet, and I really, really should have. I really need to pick it up. I don't know how old this book is. I've attempted to pick this up many a time. I haven't got to a point where I've started reading it. I've just put it on many a TBR. 2017, don't do that to me. I must have bought this secondhand with the condition it's in, so maybe I bought it a few years after, but still, it's probably been on my TBR 4 or 5 years now. One of the plainest truths about both towns and individuals is that they usually don't turn into what we tell them to be, but what they are told that they are. So Beartown is about a small town called Beartown that has, it's very much kind of in the center of a forest, and the encroaching trees are kind of bringing the town very much so in. But in the center of town there is an ice rink, and they have a hockey team, and the boys on the hockey team, you know, have dreams and aspirations of the NHL and this and that, and they're really trying their very hardest. It brings the town together massively. However, being responsible for the hopes of an entire town is a heavy burden, and the semi-final match is the catalyst for a violent act that will leave a young girl traumatised and the town in turmoil. Hers is a story no one wants to believe, since doing so would mean the end of a dream. Accusations are made, and like the ripples on a pond, they travel through all of Beartown, leaving no resident unaffected. So I have assumptions about what this is about, but I'm not 100% certain, so I don't want to say. But I've heard fantastic things about this book. I think I'm intimidated by how fantastic the things are that I've heard, and I think that's the reason why I haven't been picking it up. I do have Us Again on my TBR, but I don't have the third one that has recently come out. So I'm intrigued to see whether or not I'm going to enjoy this one. It's about damn time I got to it as well. Next we do have The Grey Bastards by Jonathan French. I bought this freaking ages ago because I saw Cody going on about it and it sounded great. It's got orcs in it. This came out in 2017. I've not had it that long, but I have had it for a few years now. Jackal is proud to be a grey bastard, member of a sworn brotherhood of half-orcs. Unloved and unwanted in civilised society, the bastards eke out a hard life in the desolate no-man's land called the Lots, protecting frail and noble human civilization from invading bands of vicious, full-blooded orcs. But on the heels of the ultimate betrayal, Jackal will start to question where his true loyalties lie. Fascinating. Sign me up. Sounds great. I'm really terrified that this pile is going to go toppling over. Next we have another chunky book, and it is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters. Winter? There's no S in there. Evan Winter. And this one was gifted to me by Jessie Gray. It says happy belated birthday. So was this gifted to me last year or the year before? Nobody knows. Oh, in fact there's a receipt here. Maybe it will give me the date. Maybe we'll find out. Oh, fucking hell. 2020. So I've had this on my TBR for 3 years. A world caught in an eternal war, one young man must become his people's only hope for survival. Game of Thrones meets Gladiator in Everwinter's The Rage of Dragons, a novel that started as a self-publishing sensation and has become one of the most acclaimed epic fantasy debuts of recent years. Fascinating. I love Game of Thrones and Gladiator. Not the end of Game of Thrones, but look it. That's on there. Another one I've had for a really long time, Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I am very aware of the fact that S.A. Barnes has a new book coming out soon. I can't remember if it's a follow-on to this. I don't think it is, but I think it's sci-fi horror again, which this is. So I don't think I've pre-ordered it, but it's definitely on my radar and I will be getting it this year when it comes out. This is the ultimate haunted house story in space. Apparently, I don't know when this came out, but it's been a while. And I've got it in hardback. Oh, 2021, it's not too bad. Dead Silence will keep you awake at night. This novel is full of old ghosts in every way possible and will haunt you long after the last page. Claire Kovalik is days away from being unemployed, made obsolete when her beacon repair crew picks up a strange distress signal. With nothing to lose and no desire to return to Earth, Claire and her team decide to investigate. What they find is shocking. The Aurora, a famous luxury space liner that vanished on its maiden tour of the solar system more than 20 years ago. A salvage claim like this could set Claire and her crew up for life, but a quick search of the ship reveals something isn't right. Whispers in the dark, flickers of movement, messages scrawled in blood. Claire must fight to hold on to her sanity and find out what really happened on the Aurora before she and her crew may meet the same ghastly fate. Fascinating. I'm very excited about this. I've gotten more into my horror very recently, I would say in the last 12 to 18 months. So I think I've been waiting to be more into my horror. I was interested by the synopsis when I bought this, but I wasn't in my horror era as much as I am now. So I think I will enjoy this way more now than I would have had I picked it up when I actually bought it. So I think I'm going to have a good time with this. I do want to be picking up more sci-fi as well this year, I'm not gonna lie, because I sucked at picking up sci-fi in 2023, so I really would like to get to more sci-fi. I have 2 more books on here and they're on my January TBR. You've already seen them, so already at the 24 books of 2024 we should be down to 22 if it goes my way, which is ironic because these are the biggest books on this TBR. So the first one is Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first installment of the Stormlight Archives. I have enjoyed previous Brandon Sanderson books. In fact, I love them. I love Mistborn Era 1 series. Disliked Mistborn Era 2. Loved Elantris. Have struggled a little bit with Warbreaker. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with this, The Way of Kings. If you didn't know, in the UK, the Stormlight Archive books are split into 2. Because of the binding. I think this is over 1,100 pages. I only know that off the top of my head because I've just counted it up for my TBR. But this is over 1,100 pages and I think it would struggle to bind as one in a book this size. So they split it into 2, which I don't particularly mind. I don't know if it makes me feel more intimidated or not. I haven't decided. But yeah, apparently I'm going to get to The Way of Kings in January. Apparently I hate myself. I wanted to make these a priority anyway. They were coming on this list whether I liked it or not because I really want to make these a priority. I just didn't anticipate picking them up in January. I suppose it's a good start to getting through the Stormlight Archives for 2024, which is what I want to do. So we'll see what happens. I know nothing about this series. Speak Again, The Ancient Oaths. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination, and return to men the shards they once bore. The night's radiant must stand again. That tells me absolutely nothing. Rashar is a world of stone and storms. Its terrifying and frequent tempests have shaped ecology and civilization alike. Animals hide in shells and trees pull in branches. Cities are built only where the land offers shelter. It has been centuries since the fall of the 10 consecrated orders known as Knights Radiant, but their shard blades and shard plate remain. Mystical swords and suits of armour that transform ordinary men into near invincible warriors. Men traded kingdoms for shard blades, wars were fought for them and won by them. One such war is about to swallow up a soldier, a bright lord and a young woman scholar. That actually sounds really, really good. And now I'm even more excited. I'm glad I've read that synopsis because I had no fucking clue what this book was about. So that is on here. I'm terrified that that's going to topple over, so I'm just not going to put that on there. And then the last book on here is the final book in a series. And if I don't get to it in 2024, I'm just, you know, I'll just be done with myself completely. I'm not gonna lie. It is Jade Legacy by Fondly. It's the third and final book in the Greenbone Saga, and it's about fucking time I read this book. Again, I'm gonna try and get to it in January for the Box Readathon and also Final Book Support Group. We'll see whether or not I manage to achieve that. But yeah, this series follows two warring clans and they are warring over Jade. So if you, not my best friend, you know, the crystal. If you inhale Jade or have it close by on you, you can enhance your speed, your abilities, your strength, things like that, and you can become almost warrior-like, if you like. And it ends up with these two clans kind of fighting against each other, these two different families. So yeah, I really want to finish this series off. It's about fucking time, I swear to God. I think I read Jade City in 2021. No, 2022. I've read Jade War in 2023. I'm fairly certain I have anyway. And now Jade Legacy in 2024. So it's taken me 3 years to read this series, which is absolutely obscene, and it should not have taken me that long. But I'm getting to this year, whether or not I like it. If I don't get to it in January, I'm going to have to pick it up again in another month. But it's my aim with these books on this TBR, the 24 books on this TBR, I don't know what's wrong with me. Why didn't I just stick with 12 books from 12 friends? My aim is to get to these two in January, on top of my January TBR. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll leave a link to it up here or down below in the description box. Go and check it out because it's fucking ridiculous, quite frankly. But yeah, hopefully in January we will see what happens, whether or not that works out. But yeah, those are the 24 books that I would like to get to in 2024. I must stop this. I must either, you know, just pick my own 10 books to aim for the year, or just pick the 12 books from 12 friends and that be it. I don't know what I need to do anymore. Or maybe just do the 12 books from 12 friends for the year and then do the self-destruct list. These don't count on the self-destruct list, by the way. If I don't get to them, I'm not chucking them out. There is a few in this pile, though, that if I don't get to them, I will be throwing them out. They do include the likes of The Holdout by Graham Moore, Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton, The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling, Beartown, and probably Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes as well, quite frankly. If I don't get to that this year, I will be throwing that out. The fantasy can stay. But yeah, so that is everything on this list. Chat to me in the comments down below. Is there anything that I'm not going to like? Let me know what your thoughts are if you've read Wheel of Time on whether or not you think I'm going to like it. I'm going into it with incredibly low expectations because I don't think I'm going to like it. And I don't even know why. I just don't think I'm going to like it. I was bullied into it by Jade and now I'm being bullied into it by Alicia, so it is what it is. But yeah, chat to me in the comments down below. Are you doing 12 books from 12 friends? And if you are and you're looking for suggestions for your 12 books from 12 friends, here are my suggestions. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. If you would like a sports hockey romance with a mafia involved, I'm going to suggest to you Breakout by Kylie Kent. If you would like a sci-fi, I'm going to suggest The Martian by Andy Weir, because I freaking love that book. If you would like a thriller, I'm going to suggest Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, or Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, because they were both fantastic. So yeah, there are some options there for you if you're looking for 12 books from 12 friends. I've given you 5 different options there that you can pick from. You're welcome. I hope you enjoy if you decide to pick one. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below, and I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.